Corrie has a nosebleed, so if she passes away during the podcast, I'll be doing this by myself. Okay, Corrie, this is the Sugar Cookie Marketing Podcast. Corrie's still here. She hasn't passed away between the jingle. So if somebody is just finding this for the first time, what can they expect?
Well, first off, it's called Baking It Down with Sugar Cookie Marketing. So.
Oh, yeah. I forgot we came up with the world's longest name.
And if you have just found us for the first time, you're in for a little bit of
a treat.
We talk about a little bit of marketing, a little bit of business. We cover a little bit of the course, dive into voicemails, some things that are happening in the group, Twinterests, which Heather took mine this week, so I want to have one, and then sponsors. But this is all about how to grow your business when it comes to putting things in the oven. So if it ever enters the oven in any course of its life, this podcast is probably for you.
We have a lot of pie people. Do cheesecakes go in the oven?
Yes.
I was non-confident.
I have no idea.
Unconfident. Disconfident.
I think
lacking of confidence.
Cheesecake is cold when I eat it. Maybe that's the non-fresh kind of
scientific, boys. So in the marketing minutes, you have written here, toot your own horn. Boop, 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 boop. What does that mean?
Okay, so tooting your own queso.
How to get one in, guys. You can roll your eyes and we'll move forward.
If there's one thing that I've learned over the years and years of being a business owner is that you need to toot your own horn because ain't nobody going to toot your horn for you. Does it feel unnatural? 1,000%. Yeah. Does it feel cringeworthy sometimes? Absolutely. But it must be done. Why? Because if you don't toot your own horn, nobody knows it's tootable.
Thank you. Again, Corrie, nothing but scientific evidence. But Corrie, man, we're not even out the gate. We're a little later today than we usually are. But Corrie brings up a great point. We were at lunch, which is why we're late. But the waiter, we had, the nice banter back and forth. You loitered at the table a little long, but we had some good jokes. Yes. The one-liners landed. At the end, he says, do you guys want dessert? At season 52, they give you these really, really tiny desserts. It's perfect. It almost feels like they are calorie-free. They're not, but you'd almost think they're were.
So good. Pecan pie, guys, if you ever know. That was my
Imagine,
favorite.
if you guys are wondering what I'm describing, it's like these tall shot glasses full of a cake.
The best parts
filling.
Of the cake.
Right,
you don't have the hard, crusty part, and some people are like, it looked good. Okay. But this is they took a little scoop of the center
of all these different types of cakes, and then they have them up in a tree. And I know that sounds insane, but go to season 52 and find the dessert tree. You'll understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the guy comes over, hands the desserts, and then comes over, hands the check. And he said, I just want to let you two know, I enjoyed serving you a lot. So the desserts are my treat.
And did the desserts taste a little sweeter?
They did.
Sure did.
They did. But here's the thing. Had he just comped the desserts, being that nice, that humble, nice guy.
We didn't even maybe notice it on the
I wouldn't
receipt.
have known. I would have just assumed that the cost of the meal was the cost of the meal. But when he came over and he said, hey, just want to let you know, I went out of my way for you guys. It made everything work so much better, even though it is unnatural to say hey, I took one for the team for you.
I know it. And it worked out both ways. I did not feel awkward that he was saying I took. If anything, I was super grateful. On Sunday, I went to California Tortilla. If you know me, I go there every Sunday with my son, take him on a date. And the guy said, hey, I took 25% off your bill. And I said, oh my goodness, why? He's like, I just enjoy talking to you. What? Oh my God.
But he had to say it. Because
otherwise, I would never know.
People were probably like, do you guys not check your receipts? Hey, if you don't look at where the money's going, you don't have to wonder where it came from.
So every time I have an order and I throw in an extra cookie or two, mostly because I normally mess up one. So I always make an extra in case I do mess up one. But if I don't mess up any, I usually throw in an extra cookie or I make a thank you cookie.
But you tell them.
I always tell them. I say, hey, you're going to find another cookie in there. It has your name on it. Because I know usually when people order these cookies, they never get a chance to eat them yourselves because you're for your son's birthday or your wedding favors or anything like that. So this one's for you to eat in the car. I won't tell us all.
Had I seen a box full of 24 cookies, best believe I'm not counting it. I'm just not going to count. I'm just going to assume there's 24 in there. So if you had 25, 26 in there, I'm just going to assume it's what I ordered. So without saying, hey, I went out and took one for the team, you don't get that return there. Mm-hmm. And I know you're like, oh, that sounds like you're full of yourself. It sounds like, you're, bragging. No, you are tooting your own horn because if you do not, no one will do it for you. And,
can I bring up a case in point as to how we have learned this lesson? A lot of times over the years in our marketing company, Heather and I have gone above and beyond and never said anything because we're like, we'll just get it done.
And they'll know.
They'll know.
It'll
They'll see it done. They'll know. They'll be like, oh, the twins, love them. Turns out they don't.
Right, no. Because we never told them.
Yes. So
just things are constantly working. And then suddenly when we say, okay, well, we're not doing that for free anymore, it causes issues.
So we had this past client, current, almost past client, and we'd always done what he asked for. We just did it. It was easy to do it. It wasn't that hard,
out of scope.
But it was out of scope. He did not pay for it. So he asked for it, done again, asked for it in a poor way. And we say, hey, that's out of your scope of work. Let's sit down and come up with a new game plan for 2022 that involves this, and we'll price it out, and hopefully we'll come to an agreement. He did not like that. We had trained him incorrectly because we had never said, hey, we have done this for you in the past for free. How I'm tying this into your business is Heather and I try to answer business emails during business hours. It's something that, we guard our free time, the little bit that we have. So we try to answer emails during business hours. So if you saw an email come in at 9 p.m. asking for an order for next week, instead of just answering them at 9:01, say, hey, I actually don't normally check my emails after business hours, but I just noticed that your email came in and I wanted to shoot you an email. You set the expectations.
But you tooted your own horn that you are like, hey, I've gone out of my way again to make sure that you're taken care of.
And you set the expectations. Hey, I don't actually normally respond outside of business hours. Because if you were to respond at 9:01 and you're like, hey, I can do that, and then they email you the following night at 9 o'clock and you don't respond at 9:01.
You have trained your client that what they had, they no longer have, and nobody likes the sense of loss.
The loss. So by setting the expectations in the front, like saying, hey, you're going to find an extra cookie in there. That one's just for you to say thank you.
You're going to give. So again, back to the Seasons 52 guy. Had he never said it, I would have never been able to appreciate it. And I'm sure he could walk away and be like, well, they probably know. No, I would have had no clue. I would have honestly not
Me
had
and
clue.
Heather, if you're wondering, we do not comb through a check receipt.
Somebody's probably just being like, charge him double. And I'd be like, hey, it was delicious.
But we honestly always eat the same thing. So I would know if it was extremely off because I'm a creature of habit.
But those little desserts are $3, less than $3. They're very cheap because they're just the centerpiece of a cake. But oh my goodness, they're so good.
Delicious. But tooting your own horn or, acknowledging things that you do that are above and beyond what maybe is in the scope of work, the order that someone paid for, actually helps you and it helps the clients appreciate you. If you always threw in an extra cookie and you never acknowledged it, and then one day you ran out of time or you actually broke that cookie and you had to throw in your extra as a part of the order, they're going to be let down when they figure, oh, I thought I got the baker's dozen and there's only 12 in here.
Yeah. Another thing is like, hey, just want to let you know, I added some bows. I just thought they'd make your order pop a little bit. I know it's not something that we agreed to, but I just wanted to make your order a little extra special.
And guess what? They're going to appreciate that so much more knowing you went above and beyond. Is it hard to ask for a compliment like that? And I'm not even saying you're asking for the compliment, but to say, hey, look at me, look what I did.
If you didn't tell them you went out of your way for the bows, guess what their next order is going
without the bows.
Yeah. They're going to be like, well, what happened to the bows? The bows were included in the last one. And that's because you didn't go out of your way to toot toot that own horn. You just got to do it. You got to get comfortable with acknowledging how you give extras to your clients. And I guarantee you they're going to actually appreciate it because clients, we may not think so, but they do want to thank us. They do appreciate us. Many, I polled the group, 2,000 people answered. The average refund in the last year, like order refund, is less than one out of 2,000 people.
Yeah.
Polled in the group. So yeah, your clients aren't trying to get one over on you. But it's important that you let them appreciate you as well.
Yeah. So if it is sending an email after hours, if it's squeezing in an order that is a rush order,
then say that. Say, hey, I am so booked. I cannot handle another order. But you know what? I really love your idea. I really love your vibe. Let me see what I can do.
Yeah. But you have to let them know because if you fit in a rush order and you never acknowledge that it's putting you out of the way, whether it cost you time of sleep, time with your family, the next time they have a rush order, guess what they're expecting? You to lose sleep and lose time with your family. But if you're like, hey, I love ya, Usually take my orders 2 weeks out, but I love the theme you're going with. I can fit you in. I have this small rush fee, but absolutely, let's make it happen. Then you're telling them, hey, you're setting the expectations. I don't normally do this, but I'm going out of my way for you this one time. And next time, hopefully they'll come at you with a 2-week notice, or they'll understand the rush fee and be willing to pay for it. But if you never acknowledge it, you're going to create animosity between you and your clients, because they're going to have an expectation that maybe you didn't want to create.
Now, when I look back at our past client that we're ending things with
on a sour note,
I say, I can't necessarily be mad at him because we created the monster. Corrie and I did. He just followed along and took advantage wherever we allowed advantage to be taken. And, I'll just fix this. I'll just do this. Well, what is he going to do it himself? It's easier for me to do it. Mm-hmm. Now we've created somebody who has an expectation that's so much higher than their scope of work. And when I turn around and finally say, hey, we need to reassess the scope, he lost it.
And that's putting it nicely. He said he lost it. It hasn't been a week. So learn from us. I know with my bakery, I am very good about asking and telling people, hey, I don't normally reply. Hey, I can't fit you in, but you'll find an extra cookie because I don't want them to see it as expectation. I want them to see it exactly what it is a gift.
Right. And I think everyone appreciates that more. Nobody appreciates when you give these silent gifts and make these covert contracts. Well, you owe me one because I added the bows.
Yeah.
If they didn't know you added the bows, they don't owe you anything. Yeah. You didn't tell them.
So don't be a baker's dozen person.
Don't be a baker's dozen unless you communicate.
Be a dozen plus one.
There you go. A dozen plus one. Okay, moving along here. In the business of baking, I wanted to talk about something that I see kind of cropping up specifically around Advent calendar time.
Anytime there's a big old rush.
Yeah, there's a big old rush. So I want to talk about something that probably affects more of us than we realize, but it's a type of fallacy that can cost you more time and effort if you're not aware that the fallacy exists. I see a lot of people panicking that they haven't moved enough of those Advent calendars yet, but they bought 50 to 100 boxes. Mm-hmm. Who's the person that sold out of them?
Miss Cookie Packaging.
Like she couldn't keep up.
No, even on it says, it is our last shipment for the Advent calendars.
So, and the fear of FOMO, you bought 100 Advent calendars, you bought the cookie cutters, maybe you bought even like 2 sets because we had that Advent calendar.
Hey, there's a lot of 24 days, there's a 12 days.
Right. You put the time into marketing the Advent calendars, but still product isn't moving. You feel backed into a corner. I've already invested all of this time and effort to get this. I've promoted it. I have the cookie cutters. I need to get baking. So you're kind of backed into a corner. You're going to say, I'm going to just sell these for a little less than I priced them for so I don't face the loss of the time and effort and money already invested in acquiring the supplies.
Because you bought the $1 million worth of Miss Cookie Packaging.
That's yourself. Here's the thing. That time, money, and effort is already gone. You cannot get it back. Investing even more time and money isn't going to get back the time and money we've already spent. Oftentimes as business owners, rather than just walking away and writing the cost off to a lesson well learned, we'll stick with the original plan, citing, well, I've already spent the money already. Let's take a scenario. Let's say you've not moved the Advent calendar, so you double down on your marketing.
Okay, doubling down.
Okay, you drop your cost.
Oh, drop my cost.
And you spice up packaging, so you make it even better.
Got a little bow on there.
Right, product starts to move slowly, so you say, hey, this is heading in the right direction, but you need to move product faster. Christmas is on it. We're the 24 days.
My pre-sale hasn't ended yet.
Right, Christmas approaches ever closer. You still have product to move, so you resort to the only thing that you saw was working. You lower your price again.
Lowering it again.
Double down into marketing, which is more time.
More photos.
Right, more photos.
Where's the sun right now?
Okay. So, then you reassess. I've moved product, right? Win, right? Sales are good, right? This is what they told me to do. And
right.
You've now got to bake probably over 600 super tiny cookies.
Those are harder than
you are at razor thin margins, not even accounting for the time you spent doubling down on marketing twice.
And I burnt a whole sheet of mini because I got on TikTok and it did what it do.
So you have fallen into what is called the sunk cost fallacy. Defined, it is the phenomenon whereby a person is reluctant to abandon a strategy or a course of action because they have already invested heavily in it, even when it is clear that abandonment would be more beneficial. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. A few examples of sunk cost fallacies in your personal life. One I love to reference is dating. Probably dating somebody long after you probably should have ended things because we have so much history together.
Lose them.
You guys don't think this is going to be a dating advice column. Awesome. But the history and time in is a sunk cost. You cannot go back. Nothing you can do in the future will recoup what's already been spent.
I'll be throwing away everything we've worked for.
I was at
a McDonald's Happy Meal on Friday night.
Right. Yeah, I was at a Halloween get-together, and there was a motorcycle mechanic there.
Is that what older people call it? Halloween?
It wasn't a party.
Get-togethers?
A Halloween hoedown. Like, I don't know. It was just people chatting in groups at a house.
Decorated themselves?
It was very decorated.
You guys were dressed up?
I went as the cup girl that everyone tells me I look like.
Anna
Kendricks, yeah. Oh, from Wish.
The budget friendly.
The budget friendly. Okay, so anyway, there's a motorcycle mechanic there, and I had told him,
all those who don't know, which you probably do know if you've ever talked to Heather, she used to have a motorcycle.
And I no longer do, so I no longer know. I told him that I had a Ducati, but the repair cost, just the maintenance, was every time I took the bike in, it was half the cost of the bike. So just 2 times taking it in would have cost me buying the entire bike. I sold it right before the second.
Girl, I know. Guess who took you to pick you up and bring you back to it?
The guy told me, he said, in the mechanic motorcycle world, we have a phrase: if you can't afford the bike new, you can't afford the bike used. Meaning, if you can't afford the $20,000 bike off the showroom floor, you definitely can't afford a $6,000 bike with $12,000 worth of maintenance cost. So he said he had a client come in and he had bought V1, V2, something like that. Very expensive bike off the showroom floor. I think it's around $25,000. He got it for $10,000. Takes it in because it has a service light.
Yeah.
They happen to know the bike's history, and it's lived its entire life at the red line on a racetrack. Ooh. So his $10,000 bike.
For those who aren't savvy with a motorcycle like living on the racetrack is a hard life in a motorcycle.
A rough paper route for a bike. So anyways, they tell him, hey, you need an engine replacement. And in Ducati, it's not cheap. And he's looking at $12,000.
$12,000 repair on a $10,000 bike. He's practically almost at a brand spanking new one.
So he has an issue. He has a sunk cost fallacy issue here. Does he try to put $12,000 into a bike that is now worth $0 to bring it back to $10,000? Or would it be more cost effective for him to just walk away? It's a tough one.
It's an ego hit, man.
But we know what the answer is. It's to walk away. Because to buy a $10,000 bike, put $12,000 in it so it's worth $10,000 is a poor investment. But we often can't see that when it comes down to our own bottom line.
Let me bring it back to the Advent calendar.
Not like we're dogging on Advent calendars. They're just a hard product sometimes.
Sometimes they're hard, especially if a lot of people in your area are selling them and someone's just selling them a little bit cheaper than you. They could sell out and you maybe aren't moving them as fast. It just depends. If the Advent calendar boxes will not change in price, that cost is allotted for. You cannot get them cheaper. There's no discount code. You have them. The price is the price. The time to make the cookies will not change unless you become a superhero or something. Are you really good at dipping
cookies?
You got
a Bosch from your twin.
A Bosch. Someone tell us if it's Bosch or Bosch.
Bosch.
I want to sound fancy with my Bosch. The time to make the cookies won't change if you make them. The
time to market the cookies not going to change.
The time to market, the cost of marketing.
Unless you have a really solid email list, then maybe you could have got some. But you'd have to have been listening to us.
So the thing that's going to take a hit is your profits or your hourly.
We can't work any less.
But you can make less per hour.
Oh, yeah. So either way, your only option, if other than walking away and accepting the loss of the investment, which is a sunk cost, you cannot get, nothing you can do today can recoup the loss of buying the product. Now, you could now sell them, but that's a different stage of this. To either walk away from selling Advent calendars or to keep going, even though when you can kind of see the end, it's a business decision. And it's a really hard one to make because you have to really step back from the emotional investment as well.
You have to honestly look at the numbers. Is it worth it? Here's the thing. If you are selling Advent calendars, let's say you drop your price, you sell 20 of them, but you're making $0 profit on there. There is no point for you to have that for sale if you're not making anything off it. As a business, you cannot afford to. Imagine taking Advent calendars off and taking a few custom orders where you do make a profit. That is something that you have to weigh. Is the time that you're giving with the zero profit that you're making worth it just to say I sold some?
Corrie and I know she's going to hate this story because she hates it when I bring it up. I know she forgets it constantly. We were working on another business idea. Maybe it was probably 2 years ago.
I know exactly what you're saying.
So the cost of the domain name that we really wanted was $1,500. Okay, not chump change. The average cost of a domain name, a .com, is $8.99. Namecheap is my favorite registrar.
This is your fault.
It's not a fault. It is a sunk cost, buddy. There's no
why
fault.
We still got it? Sell it and try and get the money
It's
back.
only worth $8.99. We're not giving it up. We're keeping it. So we purchased a domain name, and then a better opportunity came about, and we looked at the investment that we made there and made the cost to walk away from it, because to execute the project would have been a further cost. And it was more effective to be a business owner and understand, like, hey, this is not worth our time right now. It may be down the road, but not today. I say that last part so Corrie doesn't mad at me for the rest of the podcast.
Guys, I hate wasting money.
Okay, so that is the sunk cost fallacy. So how do you be self-aware of the sunk cost?
Sunk cost is knowing your numbers.
That's a good one.
That is how you go about it. You need to have some hard dates.
Corrie and I have do or die dates. So we say by this date, if this metric isn't reached, what's the next plan?
And Heather asks these questions in good time. So say I didn't get the advent calendars this year because I went to take December off a little bit easier. Say if I bought the advent calendars, I'm super hyped and I'm like, Heather, my advent calendars just got in. And Heather will say, by which day, if you haven't sold this many, will you put sold out, and you'll wrap it up in nice bow and say, better luck next year. Yeah. And then I will tell her, if I can sell 15 by this date, I will have made this much.
Right. It's important. And I know that we think that walking away from a project is failure. I'm going to challenge that and say investing in a project that isn't going to be successful is what is failure. Not being able to have that business insight to walk away from your ego and your emotions and say, hey, this is just probably not for this time. I'm going to reassess what I could have done better, but I am going to walk away from it and start on my next project is really healthy. And you see people around you who, like, a store that's failing, but it's been failing for 10 years and you just wonder why it's like hobbling on one leg. And you kind of wish that the store owners would walk away from it and spend their time on working on a new project. And I kind of pity those people because it is hard to walk away from something we've invested in, but it's a sunk cost. Nothing you do today can go back in time and change that. So break up with your deadbeat boyfriend. I'm just kidding. That was me. I did that.
I took forever. I was hobbling on one leg for about
I like to learn my lessons. It takes a long time.
But not to be discouraging to you guys, but as business owners, you can't afford to work at a loss. You will not be a business owner if you continue to do that. So it's okay to look at something like advent calendars or the little turkey dinner trays and say, hey, it was, we 100% gave 100% to it. It did not take off with my target audience this year. What I'm going to do is next year, maybe start a little earlier, use my email list. It's not a failure if you learn something from it. So I see a lot of people get discouraged. I bought 1 million advent calendars. None are moving. What can I do? Can I sell my boxes? Anything like that? You can save those boxes for next year and you can come with a different game plan.
Right. What was I going to say? I had a great thought. Oh, yeah. Somebody in the group had said, hey, I didn't move enough. I think she was honestly talking about those turkey trays, which are super cute. She said I didn't move nearly enough of my pre-sale. So I think I'm just going to shut it down, take off a week, and then focus on holiday sales, Christmas sales. And she's
to it.
What a business savvy decision to be able to say, pull the plug, refund the couple orders you got, and take off some time for your brain to kind of recoup, and then focus on really hitting Christmas hard.
If me and Heather have a class that does not fill to a certain extent,
better believe we pull that plug.
We pulled the plug. And why? Because 3 people or 4 people in the class isn't worth it enough for us. The time and energy that goes into that class is not there for only 3 or 4 people. So we will either ask them to change to a different class or we'll refund them the money.
So you can look at it and say, but you guys made some sales. You spent that time marketing. You spent the time with the emails and the campaigns. Hey, sunk costs. Like, yeah, we spent money on Facebook ads. It wasn't in the cards for this one. It's not an ego hit. We're just going to try different approach next time. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Never hurts my feelings.
It doesn't. It doesn't, because it shouldn't. It's a business decision. I would feel my feelings were more hurt if I stuck with a project too long.
Absolutely. Like your last boyfriend. Which was a project.
And it was a sunk
Guys, I
cost.
can say all that because I had to deal with it for 10 years.
Corey deserves an award.
A Bausch.
She got it, so we're good. 10 years, one Bausch. That's fine. One Bausch mixer. Okay, so moving on. Corey and I have the Cookie College. If you're interested in it, you can check it out at thecookiecollege.com. It's a monthly subscription to, now I think, over 40 classes that you can take that are geared toward, I know Corey teaches how to bake certain things, photography courses. I talk more about technology.
Heather, websites, SEO, Gmail, I think you taught yesterday.
Oh, yeah. So that was one I wanted. So I know that is a paid course, but I want to give everyone a tip.
A free tip?
22 tips, yes.
Heather went through 22 tips. I went home at tip number 6, but they sounded very solid.
I went to bed at tip number 22. One of my favorite tips, and I actually gathered, okay, so email signatures. Queso. Yum. And bring this also too. So everyone knows what email signatures are. Please think about this before printing.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone in the group actually mentioned this, and she was like, hey, your email signature can be more than just an email signature. Now, Gmail, free Gmail, paid Gmail, whichever one, offers you multiple signatures. And you can have them. So when you compose a letter, you can say, trigger my DIY kit signature. So in the DIY, I set it up for you. In the DIY kit signature, not only is Corey's name and contact information and Facebook and Instagram link, above it, I have it say, and just to recap your DIY kit pickup details, date, time, location, window. Can't make this. Please let me know if somebody else is going to pick it up for you. We don't have time for rescheduling. Back to my threat of violence.
And then I'm filling in those little specific details.
Yeah, so you can just trigger it every time you have a response to a DIY kit question, reminding them what their pickup window is. So you don't have to type it out. This is for people who are finding themselves copying and pasting things from emails sent to other people and backspacing and stuff.
Man. Don't call me out like that.
I'm calling myself out like that. My Gmails are all purple. But I would like to, I know that seems like such a simple hack and it shaves off seconds, but seconds over your lifetime add up to minutes and hours, and recapping order details at the end of every email, it has everybody on the same page.
Amen.
So I have one set up for DIY kits. I have one set up for custom orders. So it says, hey, just to recap your custom order details, here is what you're looking at. Order number, order amount, total cost, colors, whatever,
Nice. Making me more efficient over here. I like
That's
to
really
scroll back endlessly to see what we agreed on months
If time
ago.
is money, saving time is saving money.
Agree, speak my love
And it's all
language.
sunk cost anyway, so who cares?
Just back it up and walk away.
Some of the other courses we're adding this week, Corey has a bake-along tutorial for ring box cookies coming up.
Thanks
Don't
for
forget
that
about
reminder.
that. The November digital downloads. Now, the digital downloads are 12 posts you get every month, usually in the first week of the month. I think Corey at the end of the month is adding everything you'll need for Christmas DIY kits, including giving people the photos they can use to promote and sell.
If you like my photography, that'll be up your alley. If you don't, it won't.
Wax seals for luxury packaging. That'll be a product review. Corey's just showing. I think you use it for fancy
all
wedding
the
things.
times. Anytime I have a wedding order, I love to do a thank you card. The card matches the color of the order, and then I do a wax
like that.
seal with a little bit of a
What's the stamp?
floral in there.
Oh wow!
It says I got one that says thank you.
Cute. So you're doing a product review and a quick tutorial on that. And then I'm adding, I know we just finished up our MailChimp. That was a live series that I was doing live in the group, but I'm also adding using Flowdesk for newsletters. And then one of the Cookie College members asked me to teach people how to create classes on Eventbrite.
Oh, yeah.
Which is so glitchy. I'm happy to help people figure it out. In voicemails as we move along here, if you'd like to reach out, the phone number is 571-556-5644. I know some people ask about using these voice over IP numbers. We use callfire.com. If you don't want to give out your personal phone number, this is a great option.
Give out my personal one because people will be texting and calling.
So we actually send DIY kit reminder text blast through callfire.com. I can just load up their phone numbers and have it scheduled out. So that day that we cut off sales, I'll take those phone numbers, drop them in a Callfire and say, just a reminder, your pickup is today. It's going to be saying today, even though I'm scheduling it out 2 weeks, to come and pick up it at this address. So Corey, could you get us to voicemail 1?
Beaumont and Galveston.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I forgot to delete that part. It's 703, bud. That's ours.
Okay, I'm just reading. Hi, Corrie and Heather. This is Heather with Holiday Bakers in Leesburg, Virginia. I'm texting to say I cannot believe I have finished my 3-week binge of the Baking It Down podcast. So much good information, swaddled in hilarity.
That's a great
I appreciate
thing.
you both so much. Don't make me choose between you, but if I had to, it's
name is
Corrie.
Heather. She's going to pick Heather. We have the same name and nobody can tell us apart.
Heather! We're all in Northern Virginia, so Heather is a common name in Northern Virginia for some
Kind of
reason.
like Ashley, though, which is also really
There's
common.
only one Corrie, and it's me.
And it's spelled real funny. Corrie will never find her name on a little license plate keychain. Voicemail 2 is Stephanie from California. Hi, twins. First off, love the podcast. I'm barely on episode 17, so she won't hear this one for at least
long
a while.
time.
And I'm frantically trying to catch up. I'm wondering if you have photography tips for cookies. Apologies if you covered this already. P.S. I keep catching myself saying they're price anchoring me all the time now. Genius. Yeah, everyone's price anchoring us, especially here around Black Friday. I want you guys to be very aware when you're perusing Walmart.
Stephanie, there is a podcast out there about photography tips. I don't know what number it is, but I don't think you got there yet.
Which one is it?
I cannot remember. Don't ask me those
But
questions.
if you go to the group and you search for Corrie's name, Corrie Miracle, or hashtag photography, don't you usually put a hashtag?
I always do. It's always called photography tip.
So look, hashtag photography tip.
Well, not hashtag, because it's just the
you
bolded
don't?
name is called photography tip.
Okay. You can go and see Corrie's post on how she kind of walks everyone through that staging scenario, right?
I go through staging. I go through easy props, how to set up props, how you
This is
lay
in the
out.
free group. So
Yeah,
this
free
is
group.
all...
This is everything I know. I know nothing more.
So what, if you had to say, what is your favorite photography tip currently?
My favorite photography tip, the freest of the free, is using indirect, natural
Okay, we all knew we were going to say that, but like something like holiday
My favorite
themed.
tip, holiday themed, is to use muted holiday colors. Why?
Oh.
Because muted holiday colors, our eyes can glance over them. So if you have a bright cookie, bright sprinkles, our eyes will go right to that. But you can still have a holiday scene. You can still have it, your scene set with holiday colors, everything like that, because I love me a prop. But muted colors allow your eyes to focus on the brighter colors. So if I have a bright tree, I use bright green. It's super fun and exciting. I can use a muted green in the background, and it still
bright
adds
tree
to the
cookie?
vibe.
Like a bright tree cookie?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, should have said that.
Bright trees, but don't make them bright.
Bright trees, but not so bright.
So let's say we had a set of, aren't you going to make like bright red macs for Thanksgiving? I don't know. Weren't you making a bright red macaron?
I can,
macaroon set?
absolutely.
Okay, so you would have that in the center, but you'd have muted reds and greens around it to paint the, hey, this is definitely a Christmas set, but I want your eyes, Boo Bear, to look at the prize, Boo Bear.
Yes. So if you're doing bright colors for like bright reds, which you'll see on Santa, or the fun stockings that people like to decorate on their sugar cookies and everything like that, use a muted holiday color around it because it will force your eyes to the brighter colors.
If you guys have never heard what a heat map is, it's an overlay on a website that tells you where people's eyes go to first. And it's not usually where I expect. So they typically fall in the brightest color. So if your props are overshadowing in brightness your main cookie, you're actually driving your eyes to the outsides of your photos instead of the center image.
And if you're like me, you'll stare at your photos for an ungodly long amount of time. And sometimes you'll have to call over your twin sister, Heather, say,
every morning.
which photo catches your eyes just a little bit more. And Heather will be like, that one, my eyes went here. This one, my eyes went there. And then you can make a better decision.
Third-party opinions with no bias is the perfect person to ask.
And Heather has no bias. She loves to hurt my feelings at any chance. So,
And this one looks like crap diddly, and that one looks like crap doodly.
all right. Voicemail number 3 from also Stephanie from California. What are your thoughts on social media giveaways? Are they good marketing? Are they just spam for everyone?
Actually, just an impeccable question there, Stephanie. And I think that I can go with a solid answer of they can be both, depending on how you approach it.
So helpful.
Yeah, you know what? A little bit of this, a little bit of that. When I see social media giveaways that produce spam, are social media giveaways that have about 5 steps and it require you tagging a bunch of people at the expense of them. Yeah. So a lot of times people tag sugar cookie marketing Instagram.
What? It is still getting that notification.
Right. You're taking time out of my day. So it'll be like, hey, enter to win this by tagging 3 accounts. Okay. I'm the one who's getting tagged by some of y'all. But when I get there, there's nothing for me. I even check to see the caption. Like, are they tagging me because them tagging me
just
gets
like
me
a free
something?
space and bingo.
Yeah, absolutely. So that, I'd say, heavy spam. Did the host get what they wanted? Yeah, a bunch of annoyed people and reach. But I feel taken advantage of.
The way that I do giveaways on my page is I ran one today. It says I have 3 Thanksgiving pie cookies that need 3 new homes to go to, and all I want to know is 3 things you're thankful for.
See, here's the thing. What Corrie did there, it was unintrusive and it still got reach. Now, I know you're like, but that's not growing my page, but it is, because any of those people's friends can see that they're engaging with this really cute photo and they can see what they're thankful for.
And if you're like, no, I want them to tag people. Okay, then switch it up. Tag somebody you want to nominate to get a free set of sugar cookies.
That's the best one because one, it's not self-serving. Yes. Tagging somebody else so that they can win is not self-serving and everyone feels really good about it. It's the same way of giving somebody a scratcher for their birthday. Knowing full well, hey, you could end up with 30,000, but this also only cost me $1. But you could be wealthy, but you could also just be doing math to try to add up the card number. Yeah, so I'm going to say if you sat down and worked out what your goal was, what is my goal here? Do I want to grow my page? Do I want more reach? Do I want more engagement? And then work the problem backwards. I'm going to say that just having someone tag somebody else at no benefit to the person being tagged is spam.
People just following your page just to win free cookies is not always the best people to bring onto your platform. A lot of people just like it. They won't win. But they'll never unlike your page, but they'll also not do anything with your page. So they're considered dead weight and they lower your engagement rate. So be strategic with your giveaways. They can be absolutely awesome, but don't make it jump through 50 hoops to get there.
I see a lot of people say like my contest didn't do well. And I look and I'm like, you have them comment, like, follow, share, and then tag. That's a lot of work. For me to have very little.
I, as an end user, will not share something.
And frankly, as you guys, as page owners, can't see who shares, so it's not a fair method of entry anymore. With privacy settings, I can see that it was shared. I can't see who shared it.
Can I just say like, oh, shared it, boo, ready to win? And you would
probably
never know.
give you. I mean, you could try. You'd be a liar, but that whole ethical thing. But yeah, sure. Those are great questions. Thank you, guys. Continue texting and emailing and calling.
My birthday. Hold on. My birthday is on Monday. Great. If I do not have a voicemail full of happy birthday, text message, this voicemail section better not be one marketing question and better be happy 33 to the twinsies. The phone number, 571-556-5644. One more time, in case you did not hear that.
I'm going to have to text.
My birthday is on Monday. The phone number is 571-556-5644. People from overseas, don't think I'm leaving you out. My birthday is Monday, and the email is hello@sugarcookingmarketing.com.
Guys, going Brandy on Monday. My birthday's on Monday, but you wouldn't know that, would you?
Someone's got to do the hard work.
Okay, group stuff. We had some cool past lives. Caramel making with Mary Garcia.
I need to take that
He's
one.
teaching another one in January on
need to make SEO. Caramel. I love caramel. Love
do that. That'd be fun. How to use metallics with Samantha. That was a good one.
I need to take that one as well.
Bake along, making dulce de leche with Michelle. That sounds amazing. But those are past, so you can actually go into the group and watch those. Thank you guys, ladies, for teaching that. Upcoming events, we have Writing on Cookies with Tina. That is today, 6:30 Eastern. Today, if you're not listening, today is a Tuesday. Corey's birthday is next Monday.
The 22nd.
Everything I Small with Brooke Taylor, that's also today, but that's at 7:30. I just saw the kind of stuff she does. Oh my goodness.
I need that.
It's crazy. She's crazy.
I need the gloves.
She had gloves on. There was cakes with like shards of glass coming out of them. And then Understanding Website Analytics 101 with Mara. Listen, that one sounds technical, and that's because it is. But if you have a website, you need a Google Analytics account. And she's trying to keep it real like intro stuff. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, but you have a website, please just take a little bit of time out of your day and just watch how she walks us through that. If you don't know what Google Analytics is, it's how Google views your website. So if you're constantly asking questions about SEO, this is SEO step one, connecting Google Analytics to your website so you can see what Google sees.
Anytime we get a new SEO client, this is our step one.
It is a pain. It is a pain.
It's Heather step one. I just do want to say this. If you get into an internet fight with someone in the group and they block you and then they do a live and you can't seem to find it, I can't do anything about it.
You guys got to be nice to each other.
If they block you, you're blocked. And if you cannot find the live.
If they teach Facebook Lives and I wanted to see it, should I write this comment? No. Then I'm going to not write the comment.
Because Heather and I seriously do not have any control over someone's block list. So if you're like, I can't find the caramel sauce,
girl, you're not going to find it.
Go look back in your history and see that
who you
comment
fought
where you
with.
made a mess. Because that's what happened.
Okay, I have something super exciting. So we talked about the vendor blender. Did we launch it like last week?
Yes.
Okay, so the vendor blender, I know the concept is wild.
I'm calling it Vendy Blendy for those who want to be trendy.
Blendy is on its way. So the concept is this. It's digital Walmart doors to this group that we've created. The group opens on 11:25 at midnight and closes on 11:26 at midnight, which means I delete it. Nothing exists.
You cannot access the group anymore. So it goes live 11:25. My birthday is 11:22. I just had to fit it in.
So you can request to join today. You will pend until 11:25 midnight Eastern.
Just like Black Friday, but online.
Right. So then we say accept all, and you're sucked into this group where I have pinned at the top discount codes for over 25.
We're going to go through
baking related stores. And this isn't even all. These are the only ones I've announced.
Yeah, some people have.
Yeah, and so the requirement for these vendors to join the vendor blender is that they have to give the members of the vendor blender, 20% off at least.
Or more.
These people have been coming in 20% and higher.
Oh my goodness.
And so I said the only requirement for them is that these discount codes last those 24 hours. And then after that, yon.
Guys, things can sell out. There's 2,000 pending folk trying to get into the Vendy Blendy. 2,600 people getting into the Vendy Blendy. If you get in there and you see something you want, you have got to snatch it. It is not.
I think some of these stores will sell out, judging by how many people have, like, in the entrance question. I am nosy, so I say, like, what do you want to buy? Some of the things will sell out, but that's not a problem. Whatever happens between you and the seller, don't call me.
Remember, if you get into an internet fight in there and they block you, you might not see their future lives.
So the key things to know is that this is not an open forum. The only people who can make posts are the vendors. You can comment though. And ask some questions about their product and everything. And
they'll be able to do 2 sales posts and 1 live. So I'm hoping the lives, they really dive in and show you what they're offering. You get to know the face behind the business and you can create a relationship. And maybe you're going to find your new favorite cutter shop. So
right, we have a bunch of cutters. So let's just go through one at a time. Okay, so I'm going to start off. You guys know her. You guys love her. It's Corrie with Bakery Tea Co. It is baking apparel. I mean, really, they're really funny.
I have a ton of her shirts. I have Procrastinator. It's hilarious.
She has one that says feet fetish, but it has Max on it. Hilarious. She's offering 20% off. The discount code is hilarious. Obviously, I can't tell you.
Yes, you won't get the discount code until you enter into that group.
And I just want everyone to know, this is not all of them. These are the only ones I've announced. I am dripping them out over the next week.
We will have the complete.
Well, I have to cut off the sign up form.
So. All right. We have more decor. It's 20% off for stencils.
And some of these people are offering more things. I just got like the general vibe.
Vibes,
man. Sarah Grace Cookie Co. She has a really extensive list of cookie decorating classes.
Girl.
Kind of anything you can imagine.
Signing you up for Battle of
There's a lot. Start baking. And I think the way she has it is a subscription model. So you get 20% off that. And then you can really tear through these classes.
Nice. Then we have the Blue Jacket Baker. And that is 20% off of digital downloads.
Do you think she had like cookie tags and stuff like that? I know this is not an extremely comprehensive list. I have an announcement in the main group for each of these. So you can go check out what they have in their shops long before Black Friday. Sugar Dot Cookies, love cookies as a business. Sugar Dot. Dottie, we met her last week. She is doing 30% off of transfers.
Guys, 30% off.
She has quite a selection. So 30% off of transfers only in her shop. But hey, it's going to be worth it at 30% off. That was above the Call of Duty.
You know. I love AE Core, and I love their photography backdrops. It's what I use exclusively. It will up your game when it comes to photos.
We've never had a coupon this high for them.
Yes. In the group, you can normally get 20% off, but for Black Friday only, 25% off.
On AE Core backers. That's a really nice one. If somebody is thinking about a stocking stuffer for you, I would get them in. A lot of women are making their hubbies join these groups.
Get them. Okay, but when she sells out, she sells out. And you know she's going to sell out.
25% off. She went above the Call of Duty. Here, she actually started with 20% off. Sent me a message, said make it 25%.
Whoa!
It is Sugar Dash Co. If you wanted cookie cutters, man, she's got a really
Very
cute shop.
Already stocked it for you guys. You're going to love. Next, it says free. And it says cast iron is giving a door prize.
Okay, here's the thing. Cast Iron, the website platform is free, and they were like, we would like to be involved, but we can't discount free.
It's free.
So you know that
Heather loves this lamp that also holds your phone. So you could
But people can say it holds your projector too.
And so you could do cookie decorating videos, a projector holder.
What is it? It's Shop Canvas is the company. If you want to see the lamp is over around $150.
Heather wanted to get it for me, saw the price, said no thank you. So I can't wait to win
Cast Iron is sponsoring the door prize. I'll have to work with Emily on how they want to pick that person, but that is a fun one. Next up, 20% off the Cookie Box Club, cookie cutter stencils, digital downloads, and more. That one had a lot.
Offers. Beads. Okay.
Oh, yeah. She told me, she was like, I do the beads.
Yeah, I saw them. Okay, 20% off Cheerful Cutters.
Another cutters. You guys wanted cookie cutters, man. The Vendy Blendy has delivered. Okay. Now this one's really interesting. OMG Goodness Homestead sells custom jams, and a lot of people in the group buy them. And she was like, "Yeah, I just want to join the vendor blender and give people some custom jams for 20%."
Mac people, cake people. If you don't want to make your jams, I made
people who like toast.
I made blueberry jam. It was 30 minutes over hot stove. No one told me blueberries like to spit at you. Burnt myself.
I did not.
I made a mess, and I never got to use the jam because the night rolled around. We have 20% off brown bag cookie cutters, and I think does she not have the?
She is doing a turtle giveaway. She might do 3 turtle giveaways. She doesn't know yet.
If you know brown bag, you know of the golden turtle. And the golden turtle wins you some nice things.
Yeah, it gets you a box of free cookie cutters, and she's doing a giveaway only in the vendor blender group. And she actually said, I'm just going to pipe my whole Black Friday discount through that group.
So guys.
So that'll be awesome.
Blendy.
To get the discount code, you got to be in the group. That's where they're going to
be in that group.
The Sugar Pod baking ingredients, love that. Dallas is just a hard hitter everywhere. She's a real high quality. She's in the Cookie College, and that girl has taken more classes than I have put out.
She is using the Cookie College to its utmost. So I cannot wait. Okay, 20% off cute cookie kits. This is packaging and cookie cutters.
Love it. Mulberry Treats. If you don't know Mulberry Treats, you're missing out. She has these fun cookie calendars. They're themed around, am I allowed to say Barbie? Barbie doing like cookie various things. And it's really relatable.
Hilarious.
It's really relatable. So she'll be in there with 20% off.
We have more cooking classes with sprinkled raspberry bakery.
It's Jessica Genzel.
Oh, yeah. Didn't she do the...
Yeah, so she taught a hot cocoa bomb live in the group. Corrie said it was phenomenal.
We can't call them hot cocoa bombs. HCBs.
I thought they lost the little thing.
No, they got it.
They got it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No. But I saw someone say they can't call it that.
We'll have to pull the group. Okay. Are we allowed to call
20% off?
Oh, that'll be great. And then she's adding a couple more classes to that. So that's really good. If you know Sam's Cookie University, 3D printing, she has a 3D printing membership, 20% off that. They just launched it. Not only is it classes, it's just the STL files. You can just go through and print.
To get onto that.
On it.
And get them done.
Clicking. But so like, if you've not met Sam, she's adorable, but they teach you everything from bridge cookie cutters. They did just advanced stuff, and you can just follow along, and they have a Vimeo account, a paid one. So you just go, and they've titled each part of her class, so you can go directly to this part and that part and that part. And then after she prints the 3D cutter, she'll decorate the cookie with it too.
And she's talented at that. What can she not do? Lovebird Cookies is offering 20% off of one-on-one macaron classes.
That's
Guys,
the Martins.
I have learned how to make macarons. I did not know before the Martins. I know after the Martins. If you wanted one-on-one troubleshooting, knowing what to look for, Jane's will take you step by step through the macaron baking process. And you can get 20% off of those classes.
Okay, 20% off the lady who makes the pencil cookie cutter. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Does she sell the packaging for it?
She do, man. She do.
That notorious back to school bestseller, the pencil cookie cutter. It's like what, almost 8, 9, 10 inches in length. And
it is an 8-inch because I've made a bazillion of them.
It's an actual representation of a pencil.
Yeah. And then it comes, you can get these boxes with it. She's doing 20% off of her shop. I have a ton of her cutters already.
Tell them how much you sold each of those pencil cookies for.
Each pencil cookie. And it is as slender can be. I sold for $5 each.
Okay. So there was a market.
People were buying
Corrie,
them at
you cut it off
each. Yeah. I cut off at 100 because sanity purposes.
So that if you could just snag that guy, that'll be great. And the bakery business planner, if you are a pen and paper, pencil and paper type person, they have really come up with a design that works for cookie bakers made by a baker. And that is a great one. So
I just know because Sweeping Hollow sent me an email. She is doing.
You're trick. Okay, guys, this is
it?
the podcast special.
Podcasty special. So she emailed me and she said, hey, I'm going crazy with business, but I saw that a ton of people were looking for airbrushes for the Vendy Blendy. She said, I am almost done with creating my prototype airbrush. It's on pre-sale for the next 2 months and you'll get it in 2 months, but she's doing 25% off for that. So if you want to get an airbrush, it was super cute. She sent me a photo.
Okay.
I'm trying to bribe her to send me the actual thing.
That'll be a great one. Yeah, I saw a lot of people asking for airbrushes and recipes. We have a couple recipe sellers, a couple apparel sellers. I got to add some really interesting classes to add. And I'm missing some more cutter shops.
Heather's she got her night cut out for her.
I do. I'm going to drip that out through the week. So definitely tune into the main group. And Twinterests, Corrie says...
Wait, what is the name of the group if they need to find it?
2021 Black Friday Vendor Blender. Shop till you prop. I'm just kidding. That last part's just the tagline. It's on the search thing. I think it might have say with sugar cookie marketing at the end.
I'm sure you love to put that as
because it needed to show up for me when I searched for it. Okay, Twinterests, Corrie and I, when we were growing up, heard this ad on the TV for these pills that apparently made you smarter, and we begged our mom for them. We didn't get smarter, but it's ginkgo biloba.
Biloba.
I think we did cover this on another podcast. Now you're looking at me saying biloba.
I think we did.
Anyway, so Corrie bought them. How do you feel? You've been taking them for...
Smarter. Heather talked me into buying them. Well, I wasn't going to buy them, but Heather said, I want to buy them. And then I said, well, I can't be the dumber twin any more than I am already. So I bought them too.
We've been taking them and our brains are huge. So my kneeling rocking chair came in.
Yeah, I'm looking at it
I'm kneeling on it. I'm rocking on it. You tried it out. What were your thoughts?
I thought it was a fun seat. As fun as seats can be.
So the concept of the kneeling rocking chair is that your spine has to stay straight. There's no leaning back.
Spine has to stay aligned.
An aligned spine. I'm just getting ergonomic here.
You should see when Heather gets my birthday gift. Which our birthday is next Monday. If you're wondering.
Yeah, well, if that ever comes in, I'll be interested. But the kneeling rocking chair puts your shins, like the shins of your legs, onto two pads, and then your butt kind of onto a stool, and then the bottom is a rocking chair.
A stool, see what you did there.
I did not get what you were saying. But then you can kind of butt. Then you can kind of stay straight. I'm sorry, guys. We're losing it here at the end. Okay, get down to our sponsors.
Gosh, Darnie. Go ahead.
Edward. You know, I love it. Okay, guys, this is the time at which you got to bribe your family and significant other to buy you an Eddie for Christmas.
Either I see an Eddie under the tree or I'm burning it down.
Sunk cost fallacying this relationship. The twins told me. So Eddie, if you don't know about him, you are missing out. I left the ex-boyfriend and I married Eddie. That's just what happened. Eddie is a edible food printer with edible ink. So it spits ink right onto a cookie. Anything you can imagine, it will print onto a cookie. You've been using it. You printed fire.
I printed fire. I had a dragon set order and I wanted to do the roundhouse silhouette, but I wanted some cool back design. So Heather said, put some fire on that bad boy. And then I did this black dragon silhouette. It looked very cute.
Is Eddie cheap? I'm going to have to say no. But is he an investment?
He is.
Yeah.
Just like any boyfriend.
Is Eddie that much work? I think Eddie's a better buy. So Eddie is great. If you don't know Primera, they are quite a large company. But the thing about Primera is they are just fantastic with customer service.
You won't find something standing behind their product as much as Primera
Yeah,
is.
like when you order the Eddie, okay, $3,000, not cheap. But you get a one-on-one hour session with one of them to help you set up everything. And by the end of the session, you will be printing a cookie.
I will be taking my hour session in December.
Oh, really?
Yes.
But we know how to use it.
No, I went to know.
Okay, that'll be great.
How to do it. And I want to tell people on the podcast what to expect.
Oh, that'll be wonderful. Okay, yeah. So Eddie, if you go to Primera, the Facebook group is Eddie Printer Users Group. It's pretty long, but just search Eddie, or you can search the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group for the word Eddie, and you'll see a fan club about him. Somebody in the Eddie group, they tagged us in it, went to buy a wedding dress. She brought some Eddie printed wedding dress cookies. The dress salon turned around and said, hey, we would like to buy these from you.
Fantastic.
She got a new order, and Eddie takes what takes 2 hours with airbrushing, does it in 2 seconds, which is a little offensive.
But welcomed for people like me. Next.
Unfortunately, guys, you guys done bought out Bakety Bake.
It's my bad. It's the meringue powder is not called Bakety Baked. It's made from Bakety Baked. It's called Royal Batch. I have been saying
Bakety
that wrong.
Did she come and tell you?
No, I just discovered it on my own.
Well, the reason why you discovered it is because she sold out until November 19th.
Sold
because
out.
People have truly tried.
Nicole Stolfa said, look, I'm this amazing.
If you don't know Nicole Stolfa, she taught a Facebook Live. She moves $3,000 a day at a pop-up. She has neighbors hiding in her bushes so they can get to them first. And then she'll have to shout.
When I told her you sold it out, she said, I'm going to go hide in the bushes with my customers.
Yeah. She'll tell people, you can't hide in the bushes. It's not fair to everybody else. So, Nicole, if you want to if you think she knows what she's doing, moving that much product, she bought Bakety Bakes and she said, I'm never going back.
And by Bakety Bakes, Heather means Royal Batch.
Bakety Bakes.
But you can find it at baketybakeidaho.com. And then
cast iron.
No. 10% off using the code TWINS at checkout.
Sorry, yeah. Now, cast iron it launched last month officially, and they have just been in the group helping you all out. Matt is in there. If you need help with your website, he kind of does it for you. Mine is almost done. I know, and you didn't do anything. You sent an email.
I can send in my face.
Now, Emily has just been in there. She's asking you guys what you want. The crazy thing is, so the way how cast iron can be free is that they passed a little surcharge on to the consumer. So the consumer buys from you and they pay a 10%, not the cheapest, but hey, if you don't have to do the setup, is it worth it? I'm going to say yes. 10% surcharge onto the consumer. But some of you guys said, well, what if I want to eat that cost? What if I want the cast iron website, but I don't want my client to see an additional fee? Not a bad marketing strategy. Cast iron said, got you, Boo Bear, and
now
then
you
launched.
Can choose
if you want to eat that 10% or if you want the client to eat the 10%. And now you're like, 10%? Yeah, it's something you need to know your numbers for. But if you do not have a website, it is
costing you money.
Need. Yeah, you're losing much more than 10%. So I would highly recommend. And now cast iron is built for bakers for home-based business. So it has the option to add delivery fees for certain zip codes and then to remove the delivery option completely for other zip codes, custom orders, everything you'd want a website that handles custom orders to do to make your life easier. They offer, and they're constantly adding more features. I just talked to Mark today. The guy's like, yeah, I can't get enough of really hearing what the group wants and then turning around and seeing how fast we can implement it.
And they're doing it fast.
Yeah, it's a group of 7 people really kind of dedicated to keeping y'all happy. Yeah, I said it's dangerous, guys. Dangerous.
Yeah, I said, better toot your own horn there. Listen to this podcast.
Okay, here's the thing. Somebody signs up with cast iron. Again, free. They only make money when you make a sale, so there's no risk to the baker. He sends his face overlaid onto their website saying, I didn't know you live right next to my family. I'm going to send my orders over to you.
I couldn't believe it. I said, that's Mark.
Yeah, like, Mark, you're making it look bad.
Okay.
We're not marketers.
I am telling you this. Heather's insane. She created a baking group because so many people wanted baking questions, but wanted to wanted to still have the same feel. Do you see still have the same feel?
Still have the same feel.
Of the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group. So now it is baking with Sugar Cookie Marketing. The entry questions Heather has set up to be in her favor, and it says, which twin is my favorite? And when you guys answer Heather doesn't see that.
Oh, yeah, guys. My only job is to set it up. I don't see any of the questions after that.
So people who are sending Heather winky faces, you always been my favorite. Girl, I see you. I made a little extra list of people I ate.
Just checking your twice. Call her Santa.
So if you would like to, you can join that group. The rules apply. The same fun environment applies. People seem to really enjoy it. They're like, oh my goodness, I left all the other baking groups for this group. I'm learning a lot.
I'm not posting there. I don't
Heather's learned nothing. I don't think she even frequents it ever.
As long as you guys keep saying I'm your favorite twin, you're doing the right thing. Just kidding. I would definitely not be choosing that one. But I think it's hilarious that people are the... Is that the end of the podcast? Do we have anything else we want to add? I know
someone has sent in mail. And
no. It's more than just one person. Also, the company credit card, you need to get it and activate it.
What time is it? if I go right now, it is?
It closes at 6.
Are
7?
you sure?
I don't know. Maybe they have holiday hours.
UPS Stonebridge.
The address, not that it matters because we never check the mail, is 15,000.
Closes at 8. If I go now, by the time I get through traffic, I'll be there at 7:52.
15,000 Potomac Town Place, Suite 245, Woodbridge, Virginia 22191. If you want to do the mailbag, which we'll do the mailbag, maybe we can do like you post whatever, take a photo of it and post in the group because I want to know.
I'm also thinking maybe with Heather, should we run a giveaway for podcast people? Like if I see that you post about the podcast, something you okay, can I just make this up? You think? I'm just going to go with
I'm
it.
crazy. Just go. I am at the edge of my rocking seat.
Okay, guys, if you're listening to the podcast today, between
we
now...
We didn't rehearse this. It's not on the paper.
I'm actually just pulling it on my balinkaloba. Right on my brain here.
The ginkgo is working at an all-time high.
I would want more people to know about the podcast. Of course, Greg, there's a podcast, Giracle, has been busy with his cheesecake business. But between 11/16 and the end of the year, 12/31/2021, if you post about something you have learned on the podcast in the group,
what are you going to say?
I am going to buy you an AE core backer.
To each person?
No, one person that wins.
Oh my God, I'm about to type it out. So one person.
One person of the list that I
maybe
count.
we can do 5 people.
Wow.
5 people
below
just
kicking in.
I don't know. It's the holiday spirit.
Okay.
Plus, we got 25% off. I'm the first person in the
buy
group.
right.
I will buy them.
Okay, so we'll nail out the details by next week. But if you post something about the podcast, you tag the podcast, here's what I learned on the Baking It Down podcast, and you give them a little snippet, you'll be entered to win one of 5 AE Core backers. If you live distantly and they're not shipped, we'll send you the money and you can invest it in a backer maybe near you.
That's a great idea. I will be writing about what I have learned in the podcast today before anybody else, for I have the publish button in my hand.
There is 1 of 5. I will be 2 of 5.
Can you hashtag it, like hashtag AE Core podcast?
Well, and because I haven't asked them. Let's do hashtag podcast giveaway.
Okay, hashtag podcast giveaway. That way we can easily search and find your name.
So to be entered to win, now these rules are coming out. You have to do a hashtag podcast giveaway so I can easily search, because sometimes I do go to sleep and I miss those midnight meanderings.
Gratitude journals.
Yes, I miss them.
Corey's doing a gratitude journal in the group, but she just goes to sleep without posting. And people are like, "Where's my gratitude journal?"
Forgot, but got it today. Only 4 people from Mama. Ain't nobody feeling gratitude today. Okay.
So what are the rule recap?
Okay, the rule. I thought I just did it. Rule recap. Between now and 12/31, using hashtag podcast giveaway, write 1 tip about the podcast by also saying, have you heard that there's a podcast called Baking It Down with Sugar Cookie Marketing? I need to bring awareness to the podcast because this is taking a big chunk of my Tuesdays.
Corey's like, keep giveaways simple. Anyways, 5 steps to enter this giveaway. I'm going to need you to tag 3 random accounts.
Tag 3 people who
don't care. Tag Sugar Cookie Marketing _ They don't care. I'm just kidding. So really simple recap. Now to the end of the year, type out a tip that you learned in the podcast and just hashtag it podcast giveaway. And then you'll be entered to win 1 of 5 AE Core backdrops I will be buying at the Vendor Blender Black Friday for 25% off. I think she's going to sell out.
100%.
Yeah. I'll be the first.
I might have to send you just the cashish.
Which I'm sure nobody will get. How much are they?
72 to 80, depending.
Oh, really? There's different prices. Okay, good to know. Good to know. We're at 1 hour and 2 minutes. Corey needs to speed down 95 to get to UPS. Sorry.
It almost turned into a curse word, man.
You need to get to it'll be a curse word on 95. Don't worry about it. Okay, guys, we will see you next week after Corey's birthday.
What? My birthday! 11 right now.